Way back in the 1980s, when I was a reporter at Scottish television, there was a row rumbling on at the city chambers. Now, Glasgow City Council, as it is now, was ahead of the game in that it saw apartheid for what it was in South Africa, while the British government was failing to speak up against it. They took various decisions. They created Nelson Mandela Square, for example, in Glasgow. But also they did things like they took South African oranges out of the fruit bowl, refused to use South African oranges. However, they forgot in a golf tournament that they sponsored to apply the same measures, and there were 2 South Africans playing in the golf tournament when many South Africans were banned from international sport then. Well, one of their senior directors tipped me off about this. And when I went to interview the leader of the council, Baillie Jean McFadden, who was a doughty individual, she could be very feisty. She certainly was a very seasoned politician. I knew it could be a tough interview. Towards the end of the interview, raised the issue of taking South African oranges out the bowl. She said, yes, we do that. We're against apartheid. And I then said, so why do you allow South African golfers to play? And she said, I don't know anything about golf. I said, well, this is politics rather than golf. So what's the answer? And she just flustered. We finished the interview. I thanked her. And then she said, you bip, and bleep, 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 and swore at me. And I said, I believe the camera's still running. So there was then a horrified look on her face. All afternoon there were phone calls between her PR department and Scottish television to say, are you using that bit at the end? Well, here's the moral of the story. Avoid swearing on camera. Just avoid it. Because if you do that, you have put yourself out for the world to judge you. You need to roll with what's being said. Really, at the end of an interview, when someone says thank you, the answer is thank you. And then the audience says, well, they were up for the argument, but if you swear, you've lost the argument. Well, in the end, we put it out without the sweary words at the end of the story. It did, however, make it into the Herald newspaper because somebody leaked it to them. So the story did get out. And while it's many, many years since I saw Baillie Jean McFadden, and I doubt if she remembers that very much, the lesson to me was very clear. The interview is only over on television, on radio, and with newspapers when you leave the person behind. That's when it's truly over, rather than when it's said to be over.